In which video game did Super Mario first appear?
So, see, I know this. It's
yeah.
Donkey Kong.
There we go. There.
It's
See,
a trick
I
question
figured...
for people not in the know, but I'm a bit of a gamer.
Yeah. Bit of a Mario
As are
fanatic.
You.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for Chris Pratt to take over the hallowed role. I'm not.
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer, Jeff?
Oh yeah. I saw the trailer.
Okay. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, we got Jack Black as Bowser.
Yeah, which that works.
That works well.
Better. Comparatively it works.
Yeah.
Because Bowser doesn't have an established voice that everyone knows.
Mario, that's like a whole impression. Like people know the Mario voice, and
can you do it real quick?
Yeah, it's like, it's me, Mario. Right?
Okay, that's actually really good. I was putting you on the spot to see if something funny happened. And you had it prepared. That was one of the best Mario impressions I've ever heard.
See, I should have. That's why I'm so salty about it. Is I'm like, I could have killed that role.
You would have been better.
It would have been the role of a lifetime for me.
I mean, you were a voice actor in a film that just came out.
Yeah. The tennis ball on his day off. And actually, that's a great segue into plugging. I was also coincidentally just in a new... Is it out yet? Oh, it might not be out. There's a YouTuber named Avocado Animations, and I was in his... A video of his as a very, very small cameo. But anyway, I'm like trying to... I'm not like actively trying to build the voice work real,
but it's just coming naturally.
It's coming like I love doing it. So if you need me to do voiceover for something,
especially Mario,
especially if it's a Mario thing, I'm your guy.
Yeah, because like I thought about trying it, and then there's no shot I'm going to try it after your impression because it's terrible. I can't do impressions. I'm
Mario, you're Luigi. That's our dynamic.
Yeah, if Luigi doesn't ever have to talk.
Yeah, if Luigi just sounded like a normal guy.
Yeah,
not.
I mean, honestly, we kind of do have Mario and Luigi vibes where you're like yeah, because I'm taller than you. But you can really pull off overalls better than me. And also, I look terrible in red, and you could pull off red. Yes,
I could pull off red. Yeah, and you can pull off green.
Can't. Yeah, I look okay in green. I'm more of a blue guy myself. Is the color I personally think I look the best in. But green is like acceptable. Mm-hmm. Red, though, I look awful in red.
Right. Red is a tough one to pull off. So give you the pass there. I can barely get red. Right.
You could do yellow though. I've seen you in yellow.
Yellow is always a bold. I have that orange sweatshirt, which was a crazy choice when I got it, and then I'm like, you know what? I can make orange work if I wanted to. Yeah. I think purple's where I fall apart. Purple is a tough one for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where I think blue is my color. It's really, got the light in the background.
It's a good color. The light's there.
Yeah.
I have the hat, which is a very light blue.
Right, baby blue. No, we've been compared to two duos, and it's Mario and Luigi, which is very accurate, and also Bert and Ernie, which I can also very clearly see.
Interesting.
It's a good
thought of that one.
Yeah, no. I don't know what Bert and Ernie... it's been a while since I've heard what they sound like, but just off looks, I feel like we got Bert and Ernie down.
Anyway. You kind of have the hair of Beaker, though.
Yeah.
You've Beaker hair.
That's what everybody's saying. Yeah. I just looked up Beaker's face, and at least it's just the hair, not the whole.
Yeah. No, I would never say you look like Beaker face-wise.
I am very tapped into the World Cup right now, which is, first time I'm like tapped in. So that will be very fun to do throughout the next month or so.
For reference, we are recording this on Monday.
Yes.
Right after the U.S. played
tied.
And had a very disappointing draw versus Wales.
Yes, I was like, we have this in the bag. It seemed like we did. First half, we were killing it.
It was all possession. The issue for the U.S. was that their final ball in the final third of the pitch was terrible. Pulisic had that one really good through ball for his assist, but other than that, his passing in the final third was terrible. His crossing for his his corner kicks really bad.
Yep. No, they played. They clearly something happened at the halfway point, and second half was not great.
Wales subbed on their gigantic striker and took off Dan James, who is just a small speed guy, and the big guy was able to hold up the ball well.
Big guy brought it home.
And the U.S. was not good in the second half. So, yeah.
So, moving forward, no offense to all our Wales listeners, but
Monroe Page the enemy. Was messaging me during the game. He's not Welsh, but he lived in Wales, for a bit.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming he cheered on for Wales.
Yes.
Well, Wales has like the whole like kind of, they haven't played in 64 years, is it? They haven't been in the World Cup, I should say. They played, but it's like a big deal that they're here. And I mean, I feel like it's disappointing on both sides, to be honest. I feel like they should have played better and we should have played better, and it just...
Well, the U.S. objectively should be a better team than Wales. There's very few people in Wales.
A lot of people in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. Obviously, that's not the only metric, because India and China are not good teams.
Right.
They are not in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But we should have won this game.
Yeah.
Wales is a pretty good... they have Gareth Bale, who, he's a bit older now, but...
His last name's Whale?
Bale. Gareth Bale. At one point, he was one of the 10 best players in the world. Not anymore. He's a bit old.
Yeah.
But...
he looks old. Yeah.
He's actually not that old. He's like 2 years older than me. I just want
you look good for your age. He does not, is what I'll say.
Yeah. But it's disappointing. Now, we probably don't need to go for too long.
We
about
don't
the
need
World
to
Cup.
go
if
in
you have any
depth,
other, we'll just do like a brief update. I was about to say to talk about another game, and I'm like, wait, I'm getting sidetracked here.
Point is, like, I'm very invested. And I plan to watch most of the games if I can, because I realize I love watching football. I'll call it football. Because it's, I don't know, it's just exciting, and it doesn't stop. These boys don't get breaks. It's just nonstop.
It's a fun thing to follow, because I like sports where goals matter. See, that's why I don't get into basketball that much, because it's, there's no, unless it's the last shot of the game, there's no one action that matters as much as like a goal in hockey or soccer.
That's my exact same feeling about basketball. Yeah.
And also soccer, you could just have it on the background and look on your phone.
Yeah.
You don't
then
need to be like...
locked in. Except I was locked in for the last like 10 minutes of this game, because...
It was exhilarating, even though nothing happened.
Which is what sports is all about. On a different note, I've been playing the new Pokemon this week. That came out.
Oh, yeah.
That's new news. It is one of the worst games ever. Well, here's the thing. It's still fun. The thing about these Pokemon games, as I'm sure you know, is they just kind of copy-paste shit with every game. It's just the same story, the same layout and structure. But it's just they sort of change Pokemon and characters and where they are. And this game is trying to do the open world thing that Arceus did, which I thought was a very good game and a step in the right direction, because it's like open world. And this is trying to do that, but clearly they were under a massive time crunch, and it just is so rushed and so glitchy. It looks like a game from like 2005. It's really pathetic. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. I'm sure you have. There's been
I saw some of the glitches
clips
of like arms glitching around,
and that's not like a rare glitch. It's like this is just everybody's game. So that's just my brief Pokemon rant. Is like
I don't understand why because there's so many new generations of Pokemon, and they just need to make a new version with the original Pokemon. That's like the original story. But make it like an open world and put lots of effort into it. It would be the best-selling game of all time.
Dude, exactly. And they almost got there with the last one, because that was a lot of the original Pokemon. But yeah, it's like they just need to like take a little bit of time and put just a little bit of effort into these games, because clearly they're just like throwing it out there, and a lot of people are upset, and I'm one of the people. The thing is though, because it's the same shit, still having fun.
Well, that's the thing, is that the underlying premise of the game is so fun.
Yeah, right.
I spent like thousands of hours when I was young playing it on my Game Boy, because I was probably 6 or 7 when the Red and Blue came out.
Prime time to be into it. Yeah,
exactly. So I was like all the way in, and I don't think I've had one since like for the DS.
Yeah.
But I had like Pokemon Stadium for the N64.
Yeah.
I watched the show.
Right. Which was good. I liked the show as a kid.
I still have.
We should.
Pokemon cards, a lot worth thousands, presumably.
We could do the first Pokemon movie sometime as an episode.
We should. I saw it in theaters. I had the card that was like the Ancient Mew card they give you when you went.
Oh my god. We should do it. I don't know if it'll be better or worse than how I remember it, but yeah.
Probably better.
Yeah.
I have no basis for that prediction.
Yeah. Speaking of things that were big in the 90s, and are still
better than you thought they would be.
Yeah. Today we're talking about the Weird Al Yankovic story. Also, Jeff, I'm sorry if you had anything else to add to the intro. I didn't mean to jump right into the movie.
So back to the World Cup. No, just kidding.
We're talking about Weird. It is a new 2022 comedy. It's a Roku original, which we'll talk about that. And synopsis is the unexaggerated true story about the greatest musician of our time. From a conventional upbringing where playing the accordion was a sin, Weird Al Yankovic rebels and makes his dream of changing the words to world-renowned songs come true. An instant success and sex symbol, Al lives an excessive lifestyle and pursues an infamous romance that nearly destroys him. And it stars
that's
Daniel Radcliffe.
Very accurate.
Yeah. And it's basically like a musical biopic parody. Which, we saw this at TIFF. And if anyone did not listen to our recap and does not know the story, Jeff, would you like to tell the story of the press situation? Because it's one of my favorite memories from TIFF.
So we were, what were you seeing right before Weird?
I was seeing the law. What was it? Something Prisoner's Daughter, starring Brian Cox. Yeah,
which famously you said was the worst thing you saw at TIFF.
Definitely the worst thing I saw at TIFF. Yep.
And also just bad in general.
Bad, yes.
Because like the worst thing I saw at TIFF was that one documentary I just remembered that I tried to block out of my mind.
Throat singing
made me almost
one?
throw up. Yeah. But anyways, most things I saw at TIFF were good. But you were kind of like late, and then it was kind of a tight time crunch for you to get there.
Yeah.
But you ended up getting there, and there's a reason you were able to get in, even though you got there fairly soon to the showtime.
Yeah.
And that was because many people were in a fake line downstairs. Because I remember I told you just like go straight up to the third floor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was looking around because I was there very early because that was the first thing I saw that day, I believe.
Yeah.
And I got in the line and I was with one of the Oscar experts.
Mm-hmm. One of the brothers.
Well, I guess one is the expert and one's the bro.
Yeah.
I was with the bro.
You were the. Yeah.
Which he's not an expert. I can tell you that.
Still a very good.
His brother's an expert.
Yeah. But he's no expert.
No, he's
just
no
a bro.
expert. Yeah, he's just a bro.
Yeah.
But so we were just like, in a line. It wasn't that long. We got in the theater fine. It was a very small theater for a showing that clearly was going to be in demand.
Very popular, yeah.
So we got in, and then we just like we're all waiting and just like hanging out, very casual. And then I had to go to the bathroom before it started, so I told the person at the door, and then they were going to let me back in. And I get outside, and it's just full of people screaming at the TIFF volunteers about how they were waiting in line for a long time, and then they're not in, and then the person's like, it's full. So what happened was there was a fake line. There were two separate lines. We were in the real line. They were in the fake line. And all these people for large, who were writing for legitimate outlets could not get into the screening.
Of Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Of Weird.
Yeah.
The Al Yankovic story.
Yeah. I think back and I'm like, I got very lucky that a few things happened, that you happened to be there, that you yourself got in the right line, because it's like they could have sent you to that fake line.
Yeah, because I asked someone, and the person I asked just happened to be correct, which was very helpful.
Yeah. And then the fact that I decided to leave the screening early, if I didn't leave Prisoner's Daughter early, if The Prisoner's Daughter was a good movie, I probably wouldn't have seen this movie,
Really, you should be very happy that movie was bad, because it enabled you to see Weird.
It was like, if there were any movies I was going to leave early at this festival, this was the one, and thank God I did. You told me to go to the third floor. If you weren't there, I probably would have gotten in this fake line. It was, I just think it's so, I remember minutes before the screening started, some guy got in and took the last seat available in the theater. And he was some older critic, and he was really pissed off, and he's walking to his seat. And I remember he was to the entire crowd, he was it's just ridiculous what's happening at this festival. Just ridiculous. And then he sits down and Weird starts playing. I was just look at yourself, get over it.
It's also funny how many people were mad, and the screening was for Weird, the Al Yankovic story. It's such a ridiculous movie, and everyone was so serious outside and yelling.
They're I'm not going to download the Roku channel, please. I need to see it here. It was I'm on both sides where I'm this is how most press has always felt, is not being able to get into movies. The demand is, it screws over a lot of people, and that's just how it is at the festivals. And I'm also I do feel bad for a lot of the critics, just because you wait in a fake line for that long. That's probably the worst part about it.
But
anyway.
Also, they were screaming at TIFF volunteers, who it clearly wasn't their fault. Someone made a mistake, but it wasn't they were sabotaging these people by intentionally putting them in a fake line. Yeah.
It was just a messy situation altogether. But
we got to see it, which was great.
That's the other funny part, is that when I was sitting there, I'm it is so funny that Jeff and I are sitting here, and then someone who went
from
to
the New York Times or something.
Yeah, went to journalism school and fucking, we made it though. And
you're a YouTuber. I'm someone who just happened to live near a YouTuber.
I was just and I'm glad, because I'm I feel we enjoyed this movie more. It was more tailored for us, if anything, than many of the older critics.
So if you want to get into the film,
let's talk about
the first thing I want to say is that Daniel Radcliffe is so good in this film.
Absolutely. I mean, I've watched some interviews on the press tour, and it seems like he takes this role very seriously. He really, which works. That's he really believes in Weird Al, and has at least on the press tour, he's very passionate about the subject. So I'm just which both adds to how funny it is, and also it just leads to a great performance.
Because him playing this as straight as he plays it is what makes the film work.
Right. He can't go to polka parties and
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole first half of this movie is phenomenal.
Yeah. The first half is definitely the best half.
Yeah. Which
like the second half is still funny in a different way, but the first half is like perfect.
I've noticed it like I've know some friends who have seen it now, and we've talked a little bit about it, and it seems like it's a little like you either like the first half or the second half. Like the first half plays it, like we said, like very straight, and in my opinion, that's funnier. Like that's the kind of humor that I really like.
Yeah.
And then the last half gets into like absurdity, which I usually like, but like didn't work as well for me in this case, just because I was like, okay, we were there. Except there is one gag at the very end of the movie that I thought was pretty funny that I won't spoil for anybody who maybe hasn't seen the movie yet. But yeah,
it's on the Roku channel. Do I know how to watch the Roku channel? I do not, but you could probably Google it.
Dude,
like, do you need a Roku TV, or can you do it in a web browser? I do not know.
I'm looking it up right now. You can watch it on a browser. Like I can, if I wanted to. This is so strange. They got more than just weird, by the way. They got a Martha Stewart special.
Moonage Daydream is on the Roku channel, I heard.
Really?
Is that correct? I heard that on Sirius XM radio during my drive because I'm currently in Austin, Texas, which we talked about before. We didn't talk about that while we were recording, did we?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas right now for American Thanksgiving.
Well, that's why I was like, Jeff, if you had anything else you wanted to talk about in the intro, I assumed you maybe would bring up Austin, Texas. But
because we talked about it briefly before we recorded it, and I just forgot that we didn't talk about it in the actual recording. But yeah, so on Sirius XM radio, one of the people who was the DJ said that, but I don't know if they're correct. I don't know where they get their info from, because I was like, why would that be on the Roku channel? It's an HBO film.
Yeah. I thought that would be an HBO Max situation.
I thought it would too, so maybe they were just wrong.
Damn.
This is secondhand information from someone who is a Sirius XM DJ.
Yeah.
So it really is not the most reliable source.
I know someone, a good friend of the pod, John Oppenheimer, did watch this on the Roku channel. We did not. We saw this at TIFF. And I'm so glad we saw it at TIFF, because he said that on the Roku channel they play commercials, and that they played one like every 20 minutes, and that it got very annoying very fast. And he was like, I wanted to purchase it. Like I would happily purchase this.
Right. You'd pay like $5 to rent it.
Right. But they don't give you the option. I don't even think that's possible, and I'm not positive, but yeah, it just seems like a shitty distribution deal for this movie, because
it's such a weird distribution deal, because this film is good, and it seems like it could have been on Netflix.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like
Netflix has had way more niche films. They had like the making of the behind the scenes story of Mad Magazine or something. They have much more specific films that are similar to this.
Right. It's a shame, because I'm assuming, maybe the movie just didn't get picked up or get that kind of, support from some of these bigger services.
Is in it.
I know. Well, that's the other thing, is that Daniel Radcliffe has had a quite the run as far as like strange indie movies go, some of which are amazing.
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, Swiss Army Man.
Where he plays a corpse.
Yeah. And then there's Guns Akimbo, and maybe they were like, it's just another stupid Daniel Radcliffe movie.
Yeah,
and
it's another Guns Akimbo.
It's a weird album with guns.
But in this film, he has like 2 accordions super glued to his hands.
It's basically, yeah.
Accordions Akimbo, the Weird Al Yankovic story.
It sucks, because at the end of the day, we have barely like talked about the movie itself, but that's because there's not a ton to actually say about it besides like talk about the existence of it, because it's like it's a really good movie, and it's a very kind of straightforward comedy parody that I'm just like, you could try to you could make the case that like you wish this movie had a little bit more to it, but I'm like, honestly, I would rather it be just a straightforward comedy like this and not be about anything more important, because it's just about having fun. And
yeah. And if there's a way to watch it without commercials, that's the
way to do it. Yeah. There's a lot of cameos in it.
A lot. There's like a certain scene that just has like
nothing but
cameos.
Yeah. And I'll say they worked for me. Usually that stuff is like kind of irritating. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah. I like I said, I feel like you and I are both in agreement that the more it goes on, the less funny it gets. But
it's still entertaining, but it's not funny. That's the thing.
I guess it was like, yeah. I thought it was going to end like multiple times, and then it just kept going. And I think I was more focused on the ending of the movie than what was happening. So I was just like kind of over it at a certain point.
Yeah. And there is a broader joke that they're making.
Yes.
How expansive the film gets. Like that is the joke they're going for. It's just not as funny as playing it straight with all these smaller jokes in the first half.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the second half just becomes deliberately outlandish to where that is the only joke, because you can't make small jokes in something that is already outlandish.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a great point. And I feel
Thank you. That's the first time you've ever said that.
That is not true. I've said that multiple times. It is. I hate to bring this one up again, because I feel like I compare a lot of things to this movie, but it is easy to kind of compare this one to the Nicolas Cage movie that came out earlier this year, Unbearable Weight, which I know a lot of people really liked and it worked for them. I feel like the reasons that didn't work for me are the same reasons why the back half of this didn't work for me, is that it just turned into like an action joke thing that I know is the point, but I was like, that's just not my like sense of humor. But I do think, like, as far as like movies about specific people that are like sort of, well, completely fictional, I thought this did a much better job at being really funny and entertaining in the process, because it doesn't really seem like it cares about even trying to be dramatic. Like even its dramatic moments are played for laughs. So I don't know. I just love the commitment going on here. It's a crazy commitment to the bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, what's your favorite Weird Al song, Jeff?
I mean, Amish Paradise is a classic.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So maybe I'll just go with that.
Yeah. Mine, and this is the first Weird Al song that I knew that wasn't in the movie, unfortunately, but it was his "I Want It That Way" parody. But it was like, I bought it on eBay, and he's just kind of listing off things he bought on eBay, and that was like one of the first, like, I want to say like one of 3 YouTube videos that I first saw in like 2008. And I was like, this is a crazy website. And I remember watching it like a million times and thought it was so funny. And yeah, that's a great example.
That's what inspired you to do what you're doing now.
Yep. Weird Al is the reason I'm here. Yeah. That's also a great example of like, I Want It That Way was pre my time, and like I wasn't really paying attention to music that much. So I learned about that song through the Weird Al song, which is
actually an insane sentence for you to have just said.
I know. Well, the thing is, like, Weird Al has a great voice, and he really sells it in the parody. So
yeah,
made a great song out of it. Yeah, I guess there's not a whole lot else to say about Weird. It does come at a good time where I'm on the fence, because it's like I would recommend, if you and your family are looking for something to watch this Thanksgiving, this is a good choice. But also the fucking commercials make it kind of a drag.
Dude, that's if there's a way to watch without commercials, which maybe there is, try to find it.
Yeah, because
I
would say
no-brainer family film to watch on Thanksgiving if you could find it without commercials. Now, if you could tolerate the commercials, go for it, but it's not ideal.
It's not ideal. Yeah,
Not
interrupts the experience.
Ideal, Karsten Rundquist.
Yeah.
Just like when I want to watch your videos and video plays, on YouTube, I'm like, I'm out of it now.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'm really with Karsten.
Dude, like, thank you for saying that. Yeah. That's how people feel about the ads on these episodes, which I really hope an ad starts playing right now as someone's listening to.
Yeah. Well, wait, we don't have video ads in our
podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, I forget what our settings we agreed on because I remember
we have no video ads. We just have like the pop-ups.
Right. Because the one time we
realized
we set them
for
up
like a couple episodes.
20.
It's like every 5 minutes there was an ad,
and like there were all these comments from people that were like, "Damn, I want to support you guys, but this is a lot of
sold out,
a lot of ads." Yeah, like
then also like we get like 1 cent when you watch a video ad. At most.
I was like, I feel bad for the listeners.
Yeah, so we stop that. We just have the pop-ups, which makes sense on a podcast because you don't have to be looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Who cares about these ads? Anyway, we should start advertising the podcast in YouTube ads.
Yeah, that'd be funny. We should try to target it for other podcasts.
Yeah.
We could just have the video be like, hey, if you're not fully engaged with what you're watching right now, maybe come to our channel.
Yeah. Great point, Joe Rogan. Anyway, what we have to say.
Yeah, great point, Arturo and Zach. Actually, stop listening to the Intercut podcast and listen to the Carscast Moviecast with Karsten and Jeff.
It's not a feud. Anyway, weird.
I think Arturo and Zach could probably beat both of us up.
Dude, actually, absolutely. Yeah. As far as like, if we were to get like a lot of the film people online into a brawl, I think you and I would be out like very fast. We are not. When it comes to movie talk, we bring it. We're pretty funny guys. A lot of likability. But if it's a physical fight, we are going down.
Yeah. I think that Amanda the Jedi would be able to beat us up.
I'm trying to think. Oscar expert, no chance, brother, bro, knock us out. I mean, just knock.
Yeah, brother, bro is the enforcer of the group.
Anyway,
that's our next episode. It's just a ranking of
who would win in a fight.
Other film YouTubers would beat us up.
Now let's. What are we feeling for ratings? For this one,
I'm gonna go a firm 4 stars.
I'm about the same. Yeah, it's a good time. And I don't know. It's funny. It's one of the better comedies of the last few years, and it could be better, but I'm not complaining too hard.
And again, with commercials, 2.5.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Roku channel thing really fucks this movie up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should get into questions. We've got some questions.
We should get into questions. My favorite question is, who's the best YouTuber in the world? Answer, Karsten Rundquist.
I was gonna say Jeffrey Borslow. So
here's the thing: you definitely don't believe that. I release like one video a year,
but
half of them are me drinking Coke while you watch. It's really old Coke.
Right. I'm trying to see when your last video is. It's almost been a year, 9 months.
I know. I gotta.
Oh my God!
Figure that out. I think I'm gonna really give it a go.
Yeah, because you could make 2 more subscriber specials, so you're at 1,200 now, about to be 1,300.
Oh, I can't. I'll do one at 2,000, but I can't do one at every 100. That would be insane.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got to be special.
I'm looking at the comments. Common Jeffrey Borslow W.
No, my subscribers are the best. If you want to be one of them and you're listening to this podcast right now, subscribe to the Jeffrey Borslow YouTube channel. As a YouTuber, what do we say? What do we call it?
Channel. Yeah.
Okay,
some people call it a show, and I'm like, nah, it's not a show.
Arturo calls it a show, and if you try to mock Arturo, remember, Arturo will beat you up.
He'll beat me up. He'll beat the shit out of me. Yeah. Heard you called it a show. Shows up at my house. Okay. the questions. This first one comes from Icy Tooth 9527. This comes from the Carscast subreddit, which is the best place to ask a question. By the way, we got question threads going on.
It's the best place for something,
there.
Presumably.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out what it's the best place for yet, but there's something.
The question reads, favorite ABBA song, which changes for me. It kind of depends on what kind of mood I'm in. They just got nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys, which is like good for ABBA. Still kicking it, doing their thing.
Yeah. Now I was a big fan of one of the songs on their most recent album.
Yeah, really. Voyage.
Yeah, When You Danced With Me is a phenomenal song.
Interesting. I'll check it out after this.
It kind of sounds like a little Scottish almost, kind of like big country.
Yeah.
It's good.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Voulez-Vous, off the album Voulez-Vous. Gets you going. It is a hype
French
song. Yeah. Swedish band performing a French song, which I never went to their museum when I was in Sweden. I skipped out on that one.
Yeah.
And I kind of
Are you disappointed that you
Yeah, should have done it. But I did go to the Vasa Museum and saw the big ship, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next,
I mean, Waterloo's good as well.
Waterloo is like, yes, that's the gateway. Actually, that is not the gateway. Mamma Mia is the gateway.
Fernando?
Song. Yeah. Oh my God, Fernando. Dude, they have so many good songs. Take a Chance on Me. Yeah. I know that's not a lot of people's favorite, but I love Take a Chance on Me.
Yeah.
If you change your mind. Anyway, this
now wait, can you sing that but as Mario?
Okay, wait, where's the if you change Nope, I can't. See, now that's where you got me. When it's not something
that Mario
Take a Chance on Me. Mario.
Okay, that sounded like a Jamaican accent.
No, it's not. It's Italian. It's Mario. This next one comes from Taunt Keen 91. And this is an interesting question. Is there something you want to complain about? Now, you just got off a kind of a road trip, which I feel like, there's a lot of things you get easily frustrated by when you're on the road for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if that led you to anything or if there was something else you wanted to complain about, but
a lot of the highways had there's so much road work going on.
Yeah, it's bad right now across the nation.
I was driving, and then a lot of the highway roads are really narrow because they put concrete borders on both sides, right on the line. So I feel like I'm driving in a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Or a bowling alley lane. A bowling lane, that's what it's called. I was like, a bowling alley makes it sound like I'm running over all the people who are just there to bowl.
Who are doing no harm.
Yeah, no, I meant I felt like one of the bowling balls, where I'm down a narrow path.
Yeah.
Although I guess the bowling lane relative to a bowling ball is actually quite wide.
Yeah. So
I felt like I was a really big bowling ball that takes up the whole lane.
Yeah.
This is falling apart, this analogy.
Maybe a pinball in a pinball machine getting shot up, because that's a really narrow rail.
Yeah, okay, that works. It's better than mine, for sure.
Yeah. Well, but then the pinball is in a giant space, so maybe it's not as good.
Getting bounced around. It makes it sound like I was driving and then crashed into 35 things.
Just horrible accident. Yeah.
You know what I mean, probably.
I know what you mean. I know this is a tired subject, but it seems like every day a new annoying thing happens on Twitter with Elon Musk right now.
Yeah.
He is just the cringiest man alive. Some of the memes he's sharing it's past so bad it's funny. It's just really bad. And
words fail me.
It's
because
been
the
just
thing is,
insane.
I really believe in the utility of Twitter.
Yes.
I think Twitter as a concept can bring news from different parts of the world, all in one place.
Yeah.
and amalgamate that as quickly as anything that's ever been, existed.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, Elon Musk is doing his best to destroy Twitter.
Yeah.
And at least this is showing everyone that he's not really some kind of like genius,
right.
out there guy. He's just kind of dumb.
Yeah. It definitely confirms a lot of suspicions people have had about him that I'm like,
and people don't understand. He's not the one who's he's like okay sometimes with broad ideas, right? Like electric cars and this and that, but he's not an engineer who's the one like figuring out how to make it actually work.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's not a rocket scientist. He just pays people who are rocket scientists.
Right. Yeah. It's like everyone
because his family owned an emerald mine in South Africa.
Yeah. He's not like we all want cool, like hyperspeed, whatever, light rails or railways, whatever. Like he's not the first guy to like think of that being a good idea. He's just like, which by the way, that hasn't even really happened. Which seems like a lot of his ideas. So yeah, that's just the whole Twitter thing. Like the idea that like a billionaire can buy something as like important as Twitter and kind of run it into the ground like that is just so. I mean, it's still up and running right now. I'm of the group that's like, I don't think Twitter's gonna fully crash like that, but it will turn into a terrible bankrupt place. Yeah.
Yeah. Which would be better because then like a bank would own it.
Right.
And then a bank, I believe, would still want to keep it alive because the value in it comes from the user base.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also it being run normally so that advertisers actually want to advertise there.
Right. Which is not the case right now because
Elon
is kind
of incompetent at understanding what the point of Twitter is and what makes it have value.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like a free speech beacon. It's a company.
Right. Right. And by free speech, that's just like a code word for just like hate speech at this point because the people that he's brought back
for anything.
Yeah. He's like, free speech is back. And he lets like fucking Donald Trump and Kanye West and Andrew Tate back in. And I'm like, that's real positive group of guys. Yeah. It's
my favorite Jordan Peterson video, which honestly, don't anyone look up Jordan Peterson, but there's the video of, I forget who it is, but it's like the Australian comic who literally gives him an example of something, and then immediately Jordan Peterson's like, I guess you're right. And that completely defeats the entire thing he was saying before that.
That's amazing. That seems like that tracks for him.
If you just Google Jordan Peterson gets owned, you'll probably see 5 million results.
So that's what I felt like complaining about. I don't want to turn the podcast into that because there's so much to say about this thing. But I mean, like
into Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to run it into the ground.
Go on the subreddit and send us a tweet, and we'll read it on the podcast.
Yeah. This last one comes from Chips Ahoy 523, and it's, if you could take one movie and replace all but one of the casts with Muppets, who would it be? For example, Muppets Taken with Liam Neeson as the only human and everyone else as a Muppet. The plot stays exactly the same.
That is 100% not the answer I would go with.
Taken?
I don't want to watch Liam Neeson murder a bunch of Muppets.
No, yeah. Wait, that's does not sound like a good time.
What about like Air Bud, where everyone's a Muppet but the dog?
Yeah, and they're like, this Muppet is crazy. That's actually such a good answer. Damn, what would I'm looking at my.
What about Space Jam, where everyone's a Muppet instead of a Looney Tune?
Yeah, then it's basically the same movie but different characters.
The Mummy, where everyone's a Muppet but Brandon Fraser.
Monsters Inc., but they're all Muppets. But that didn't work because the point of the monsters in Monsters Inc. are to scare children, and the Muppets would just come in and be like, rah! But it's just.
I mean, the movie would end a lot faster because they would all get laughed at, which they found out creates energy much more efficiently.
That's the solution.
So the movie would be a short film.
Yeah. Weird Al, but the Muppets. But Weird Al Yankovic's the only human in the universe.
That would be confusing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't understand like how the comedy would even work.
No. I'm looking
Swiss Army Man, where Daniel Radcliffe's corpse is the only act.
Bullet Train, but it's just Brad Pitt and it's a bunch of Muppets. I don't know.
Again, that gets into the with Taken, where you just be murdering Muppets.
Right. I'm trying to look at serious movies where we don't have to see Muppets get murdered. And it's not a lot of options. I'm gonna 2001.
You could do one of the
Space
Muppet
Odyssey.
movies.
Yeah. One of the Muppet movies.
But like Jason Segel becomes a Muppet, and it's the Muppet. It just is someone else who's a human,
just a person. Yeah, and they just barely address it. They're like, he's a human, but it's not important.
He's a human. They still act like he's a human, but he's a Muppet.
Elvis, but it's just Elvis, and everybody else is a Muppet.
Honestly, I would watch that.
The Tom Hanks character as a Muppet would work really well.
Yeah. I mean, he pretty much is a Muppet.
Yeah. Anyway.
That felt like I was doing some kind of slander, and I don't even know what it means.
Anyway, that's those are the questions for this week.
Those were good questions, Karsten. Good job picking them. Good job, people who asked those questions.
We got just enough for the week, to be honest. There were only 3 new ones, and they all happened to be pretty good questions. So, thanks, guys. Really brought it home. And if you want to get your question answered in the next episode, either become a $15 patron on Patreon and ask us a question, because that's a guaranteed answer unless the question is offensive or weird.
Or Venmo me personally $100.
Yes, that's
and
another.
We don't have to tell Karsten, and you can have all the questions.
Yes, that's another easy way to get that question answered.
Bribe me.
Yeah. This next section is the wrap up, where we first like to announce the movie for next week, which will be Glass.
Wait, before you. Okay,
Damn,
never mind. Now we know.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna tell you to do it in the Mario voice.
Oh, scratch that. No, I don't want to do it anymore.
No, just you can start with "It's a Me Mario" to get you in like the rhythm.
Yeah. It's a me, Mario, and next week's movie is Glass Onion.
Okay, the glass was great.
Yeah.
Some of the other words didn't quite come together, but the way you said glass was perfect.
Okay.
It was exactly how Mario would have said it.
Fuck yeah. All right, cool. Landed it. We're talking about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery next week. And it is not on Netflix yet. It won't be on Netflix until December 23rd, but it will be doing its week-long theater run. And if you don't want to watch weird, but you do want to watch a movie with your family this weekend, go see Glass Onion. I feel like that is a really ideal family movie, because it's just really
assuming
fun.
You're all at least like 13 years old.
Yeah, don't bring the kids.
I would say don't bring like a 9-year-old. That would be a bad time.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing offensively. Nothing like.
No, I just mean like it. I don't think a 9-year-old would enjoy it.
Yeah. We will do a spoiler-free review next week, but we will have maybe like a spoiler section or something. We don't know yet, but just so you know.
Don't worry, we're not gonna like ruin any of the spoilers.
No.
Like that thing that happens at that one part of the film, we're not gonna
tell you about that part. Oh my god. Definitely not that part. Or that other part. Jesus, we won't touch that.
Ooh, no.
So
and
anyway,
one thing.
Oh no. God! Don't even get me started.
Don't even.
This next part is where we read a review to encourage you guys to leave reviews. I accidentally just closed the tab, but thanks to Chrome's reopen close tab feature. It sounded like an ad.
This week's sponsor, Google Chrome.
The reopen close tab feature. These come from wherever you can leave a review, and we read them on Chartable, and we love to hear what you guys have to say about the podcast, because it's always nice to know what people have to say about the podcast. This one comes from I did Gandhi Mommy last year, right? Yeah. Or last week.
Yeah.
This one comes from Windy Door, from the USA. Subject line is thanks, and 5 stars, and it reads, during film class, we started talking about Bullet Train, and the only reason I knew anything was because of the episode about it. So, thank you.
Thank you for the review.
Yeah.
I will say that does imply that you listened to the episode without watching Bullet Train.
Yes.
Which I guess, that's
I'm
inherent
glad.
in a movie podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it helped you.
I'm glad you're tuning in regardless of the movies we talk about,
Yeah. That makes you a better fan than some of the
ones that only come out for the
ones.
hits. Yeah,
Yeah, they only come out for ones that they've seen.
Yeah, and it's like...
Because I don't want to hear someone talk about a movie that I have not seen.
Right, which I guess makes sense. Make sure, if you haven't left a review before, if you have some thoughts about the podcast that you want to get off your chest, leave a review, because we have one more and then we're going to be out, so we need more reviews. This next part is my favorite part, personally, which is where we thank the patrons over at patreon.com/Carscast.
That's your favorite part?
For the sake of this segment, yeah, it's my favorite part.
You're like, yeah, my favorite part's the part where Jeff doesn't talk at all.
I simply just talk for a minute or two.
I just read a list of names.
Yeah,
I just really like reading.
My favorite part of the podcast is where I read the same script every week in rapid. Yeah. So this is, if you would like to support the podcast and get more of this, consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Carscast. We are going to have those bonus episodes coming out pretty soon.
And we got to do a hangout.
Got to do a hangout, actually, before probably this weekend, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
That's the last weekend of November. So,
yeah, we'll do it.
Get in on that patron hangout, and we'll do a fun patron Thanksgiving this weekend where you can eat a snack while you're there. It's a feast.
That'd be kind of weird.
That'd be weird. But come patreon.com/Carscast, exclusive bonus episodes, patron hangouts, and I read your name at the end of every episode, which is
right now.
Right now, starting with thank you, Alex Thomas, Anson Contreras, Big Beard Pirate, Boinks, Camilla, Coop, David Borslow, David Sir, Eden, Finn Richardson, Goodnight Tail, Jacob Meyer, Jared Armstrong, John Van Hout, Joshua Hughes, KDT, Leonard. Let's change the Google search results for PTA. Leavin, Jar Jar is the best Star Wars character. Louis A.O., Lukewarm, Maddie Robertson, Martin Def Merrily, Borslow, Michael Rennie, Monroe Page, Noah Wooten, Pasta, Queen of Staten Island, Rakakuni, Riley Ost, Ryan M., Sam Farr, Sean Kenny needs a beverage check, Stella Perry, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Minnie Worman, Jagerman Jensen, Taylor's version, the raccoon from Airbud 7th Inning Fetch, Wes Kinley, Wiley Todd, Yusef A., and Zoe Hernandez McDonald. Thank you. Oh, almost closed this page.
Thank you and goodbye.
And bye.
That does pretty much
do it. Yeah.
Do it for the podcast. I mean, I had a great time this week again talking with you, Carson Runquist.
Me as well.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.